if you've got an internet outage in an area, you can reach nodes that are outside of your area and send messages. It gives you access to the internet, and it gives you access to regular email, so you can send email to whoever you want. The Homeland Security, not Homeland Security, the FEMA people have picked up on this a lot, and tend to use it to get email 80, 100 miles outside into a disaster area, and they can use that mechanism. There are basically 4 ways of sending, actually 5 ways of sending WinLink email. One is via the internet directly. If you have an internet connection, that's cheating. But you know, for administrative crap, who cares? Second is packet, VHF, UHF packet. There are a number of nodes around the country. There are a large number of nodes in Europe. There are a number of nodes in Australia, Japan. Not a lot in South America at this time, not a lot in Africa at this time. But they're VHF nodes. So figure you got to be within about 30 miles of the node. Connecticut Aries operates a network of nodes on that state microwave backbone, so that we can get access to any of those nodes from anywhere in the state. Having said that, the node that services this is down this weekend. So there are other nodes, but we can't reach them from here because, although you don't realize it, we're in a bowl here. There's high terrain south of us, east of us, and north of us. So we can't really get at those. There's one node that we should be able to get to on Long Island, but there's a place called Syosset that's a hill, it's a 135-foot hill, and you can't get over that hill. So, all right, the third way is something called PACTOR, which some of you may know of. It's high-speed HF messaging, basically high-speed HF packet transmission. It's a proprietary modem. It runs anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 depending on the speed, but it's nice high-speed stuff if you want to buy it. Those of you who are wealthy enough, I would love one for Christmas. There's something called robust packet, which is it's a form of packet that some people experiment with. It's got some advantages over regular packet in terms of reliability. And the last one is called WinMore. WinMore is HF WinLink. It's WinLink over HF. It's slow speed. It's 300 baud. Some of you are actually old enough to remember dial-up with 300 baud. Okay, that's the speed. But if you need access, it's access. Okay, if you need, if you need to get messages out, you can get messages out. WinLink. Anybody who's using WinLink is going to have an address at winlink.org. So you would set up an address at winlink.org. And the way you do that is to actually set up the software and then send a message. The first time you send a message from their software, you automatically have an address at winlink.org. So the first time I set up WB2RYV at winlink.org and send a message, I now have WB2RYV at winlink.org. WinLink, all WinLink mailboxes use what are called white lists, meaning you cannot send a message to somebody at winlink.org until that person has already sent you a message. There's actually one other way of doing it, but I'm not going to say what it is because John's filming this. It's fairly simple if John wants to turn off the camera, which he's not doing. So okay. Move on. So if you want to start communicating with somebody at winlink.org, they have to send a message to you first, and once that happens, you can then send them messages. Whoever has received a message from winlink.org, from somebody at winlink.org, can send messages back to somebody at winlink.org. When you load the software, it's standard Windows software, and it only works on Windows. It's straightforward. You download it, straightforward install. You get a screen that looks like this. Well, actually, let me show you the setup screen first. Here we go. Good. Okay, so setup screen, most of it is information that you don't really need to put in. You're going to put in your ID, what you want to do. Some people will put something like a suffix on their ID, like a -10. Usually means you're a regular WinLink user, so WB2RYV-10. If you want to do that, you don't have to. They do want your grid square. The reason why they want your grid square is because if they can, they're going to tell you what propagation is based on your grid square. But you do have to have working internet. Well, typically you have to have working internet. You can do the propagation test over the air. It'll tell you what stations should be good, what stations won't be good. It is highly recommended that you set up a password. Why? Because anybody can set up a copy of RMS and say, I'm WB2RYV, and start sending out mail. Unless I've set up a password. So you have to know my password in order to send mail. And as you can see, the password is blocked out.
What is it?
It's Fred. And that's really the main information that you have to set up. You can have multiple different addresses on the same install of the software. So for example, you can have if you have a personal address and maybe something at an EOC, you can have or something for CERT or Aries or whatever. You can have multiple addresses on the software, and when you start the software, when the software is running, you have a little selector box to say, who am I for this right now? I'll show you in a second. So this is a standard screen. You can see up there, I've selected that I'm WB2RYV. Okay. It's fairly standard email. I've got 2 unread messages. I've got 35 deleted items I got to get rid of. I've sent 190. No drafts. It's fairly simple editing, email editing. Kind of hard to do. Maybe kind of hard to do from behind it. If you guys want to come around here, but you can see it's fairly simple. New message. Yeah, to CC, no BCCs by the way. To CC, subject matter, your text. A WinLink message can be up to about 100K in size, including attachments. The attachments can be binary, which means you can send pictures, you can send spreadsheets, Word documents, whatever. But remember, whatever speed you're operating at. If you're on HF, you're operating at 300 baud. Figure that's 30 characters a second. You want to send a file that's 100K characters, going to take a while. Even at the typical VHF packet is 1200 baud. Even there, 100, 120 characters a second, going to take a while. So you want to limit things. One of the things you learn to do is, for example, instead of sending spreadsheets, you send CSV files. You make your spreadsheet simple. You send a CSV file. On the other end, they don't need all that formatting. They don't need all that crap. Document, you make it simple. You send just the text as just a text file, and it makes it go a lot faster. There's still some places that haven't figured that out. Talking to some guys down in Texas with one EOC, they won't accept a message without a signature, so they have to photocopy, or they have to image every single message that's going into or out of the EOC and send it. So they're sending 50 and 100K documents all the time, and they're going, boy, this is awfully slow. Sorry, what can you do? So a straightforward message, email message. What we thought we'd have you do, anybody who wants to, is create a message, and we'll send it to you. We'll go in, Terry set up his rig, we'll go in and send them, and you'll see what WinLink looks like when you're sending. If anybody wants to create a WinLink ID and start a new message, start a new ID right now, we can have you add on this machine. You'll have to go home and then download the software and put it on your machine, but if you want, up to you. Tony, you want to do anything?
I've got it.
Okay. Andy? Oh, and they don't do CW. Sorry.
Well, I don't
There was
use
actually,
But
there
you
was-
can simulate it. You can do periods and dashes.
No, there was actually requests. People, there
Oh,
are
really?
people who were going. This is being sent as packet. High redundancy, forward error correction, all the really good stuff. And somebody's going, why can't you have this send out CW? and the answer was, well, because this is the 21st century. So one of the interesting things is that all the mail goes to 5 servers around the world, and the servers replicate each other. So within 2 to 5 minutes of receiving a mail, it's on those 5 servers. When you actually connect, you're connected randomly to one of the 5 servers to pick up your mail or to send mail. There's a server in Vienna. There's a server in Canada in the East Coast. There's one in Washington, D.C. There's one on the U.S. West Coast, and there's one in Australia. And they may add some more servers. But they're figuring, well, we're kind of spread around the world. It's hard for one server to go down. Maybe not. But anyway, so
Cool.
Andy, if you want to send one to yourself, or it'll come from me.
Do you have to create an account?
No, not unless you want to. If
I'll send it to my a personal
yeah,
email.
send it to your personal account. It'll come from me, and then we'll see what it looks like when you.
John, I sorry I missed at the beginning. What is the connection? This is Wi-Fi to where?
No, right now, nowhere.
Okay.
Right now, it's just going on this computer. Then we're going to send it out. We're going to connect this computer up to Terry Papazidis' rig
Got it.
and send it out by HF. And it's going out slow speed packet on HF. So, okay. So what you do is, if you're ready, you're just going to say, post to Outbox. You can post it to a draft folder, and then edit it later. Or you can post it to the Outbox.
Done.
Okay. Anybody else?
How does that interface
Back to Morse
the
code.
computer? Just through the USB?
Yeah, well, for WinMore, the interface is a typical sound card interface, like a signal link. If you're on Packet, the interface would be a TNC, Terminal Node Controller.
Okay,
They're
send me
not.
one.
Okay. So I'll create one. What's your address? What's your email?
Send it to
Why don't you stop for a second? We don't need this.
JOM@GICIMAN.com.
Okay.
Happy Field.
Oops. My typing is terrible.
Aren't you glad you didn't try to make a career of being a secretary?
Yeah. Okay, John at GICIMAN.com.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sure.
I can read. Right, where do I?
Okay, so if you're starting a new message,
Yep.
up there, message, new message.
Message. New message. Okay.
Then from that point on, it's pretty straightforward. At last year's statewide emergency communications exercise, I was up at the Stanford EOC, and they did one of these. Okay, well, the state said, okay, email is down. Now how are you going to communicate with us? And I kind of go, oh, I can send them, or your email is down. In other words, they were saying there wasn't. So we sent out some messages from the city's EOC to the state EOC using WinLink, and the state EOC calls up a couple minutes later. What the hell was that? We didn't know this existed.
And hit send, right?
Post to Outbox.
Post to Outbox. Done. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Done.
So let's. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Should I check these messages and make sure that people haven't been sending, Sending things
Spam?
or spam, or
Don't you trust?
or threats to the president, and I have the Secret Service all over me. What do you mean? I didn't send that.
Dear Gene Art.
Yeah. Oh, dear Gene Art. I was thinking of stopping on my way back from Fairfield to see how things are going. What? No, that's funny. Fred's about to enter a 25,000 page dissertation on relativity
Putting
or
a
something.
math quotation in.
Right, probably.
No, not really.
But knowing Fred, it'll be 25,000 page dissertation followed by a bad pun. A really, really, really horrible pun.
No,
That's
no.
Fred.
Me puns.
Yeah.
You just try to
Now, of course,
punish
John
me.
uploaded the videos from the earlier videos you already loaded. You did over the air, right? No.
No. Remember what I said about, small file.
Understood.
Some of the WinLink nodes have the ability.
Yeah.
Some of the WinLink nodes have the ability
Yeah.
to forward messages by radio. So, if you can't get
Why
to
why people hate the caps lock key?
Hate it.
yeah, bad enough. Okay.
There are ways to disable it if you go into the registry.
Oh yeah, I know how to disable it. But that's one of the number one uses for sharp keys is the disable caps lock key.
Okay.
All right.